Hey, what college should I go to? That's the question thousands of high school football prospects across the country are asking themselves right now. Today, we're going to give you an answer as to where you fit in the college football recruiting game. Picking the right school. We watch this go on every recruiting cycle. Every December and February of every year, we watch college football prospects go through the painstaking task of trying to pick the right school for them. It's easier for guys that have all of the options in the world. The 40, the 50, the 60 offer guys. It's a little bit easier for them, kind of. They do have to pick through all those options. But what about guys who aren't exactly sure where they fit in? We're going to talk about that today. But before we get into this video, let's take care of a little bit of business. First, if it's your first time here or you've been on this channel before and you've not yet subscribed, now's a good time to do that. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and feel free to hit the bell so you're notified the next time I put out one of these college football recruiting videos. On top of that, if you like the video, please give it a like and a share. Let's spread the joy and the information to all the people that need it. Okay, jumping into today's topic. Where do you fit and how do you find your fit in the college football recruiting world? When it comes to that, I have broken this down in 4 different categories. And today I'm going to talk about what those 4 categories are. But before we start talking about those categories, knowing the category that you fit in requires being able to do something that I found it to be very, very difficult for college football recruits. Basically for most people in this world, but especially difficult for college football recruits and teenagers that are really just trying to come to grips with who they are. You're going to have to be very honest about who you are as a player. The more honest you are as a player, the better you will be at selecting a school. The better you are at selecting a school, the less heartache and the less trouble you're going to experience down the road. Yes, that transfer portal is there. And it's so free and easy now to jump in that portal and make yourself available for transfer. What is getting more and more difficult is actually getting out of that transfer portal and going to a situation that's better than the one that you're currently in. So if you think you could just pick any school and if it doesn't work out, I'll just jump into the transfer portal and everything's going to be all right, I'm here to tell you, it's going to be a heck of a lot more difficult than you think. There are hundreds of guys stuck in that transfer portal right now without any place to go. And they can't go back to the place that they've left because once you've thrown yourself in that transfer portal, you've kind of put yourself in a situation at that school. Going back is going to be probably bad news for you. So to avoid the whole transfer portal business, because it's ideal for you to go to one school and spend 3, 4, or 5 years there, listen very closely to this video, pick up some tips, write some things down, but above all that, to get something out of this video and apply this the best way possible is you're going to have to be truly honest with the type of player that you are. All right, so category number 1 is you're highly skilled and you're highly athletic. We know those guys are. Those are your 5-star recruits, or those are your upper echelon 4-star recruits. And we know what schools they go to. They go to the Power 5 schools. They go to the schools that are playing on your major networks every Saturday. That's the Ohio States and the Alabamas and the Clemsons and the Michigans and Florida States and Miamis and those type of schools. The USCs, the Oregons, those upper echelon schools are the ones that are signing these highly skilled, highly athletic prospects. And this goes even if they don't meet the height requirement. So if you're a 6-foot quarterback or you're a 5'10" defensive back or even a 5'9" running back, you can even get away with that if you are highly athletic and highly skilled. So what exactly does that mean? I think we know what athletic means. You run fast, you jump high, you've got great agility, balance, change of direction, good ball skills, all of the different individual skills that it takes to excel playing this game. Now, when we're talking about highly skilled, they have very good technique. They're very good at rushing the passer. They're very good at avoiding tackles when they're running the football. They're very good at throwing the football if they're a quarterback and avoiding a rush. They're very good at playing man-to-man or playing press coverage. They're very good at coming out of their break if they're a defensive back. They're very good sound tacklers if they're linebackers. And they're very good at pass protection and run blocking and getting up to the second level if they're offensive linemen. That means they're highly skilled at executing the individual moves and techniques that are required for their position. So if they're highly athletic and they're highly skilled, those are the guys that the big time college football programs go after. Those are the guys that those big time college football programs are able to sign because they're the big time college football programs. They have the ability to do that. They have the budget to do that. And they're really, really well known. And those are the places where those guys go. So if you know that you're a highly athletic, highly skilled prospect, then there's a good chance you'll be able to survive and thrive at one of those schools. So go ahead and entertain those offers and don't feel shy about going to one of those big time schools, because if you're willing to put in the work, there's a chance that you will be able to start one of those schools, and then you know the sky's the limit once you've been able to do that. Before I jump into that next category, can you give me some examples of a highly skilled and a highly athletic prospect that's come out in recent years that's been, one of those top guys that you really think has been highly athletic as well as highly skilled? I'm not talking just because a guy's a 5-star, a guy that you've watched that you know is highly athletic as well as highly skilled. Go ahead and drop a comment with a guy that you think fits into that category. The next category is a very tricky one. The next category is moderately athletic but highly skilled. This is a tricky one because guys are highly skilled and they're performing on the high school football field. They're rushing for a lot of yards, they're throwing for a lot of yards, they're getting a lot of receptions. They're making plays on the defensive side of the ball. They tend to think that that's because they're highly athletic. However, you may not be. You may just be highly skilled. You have really, really good technique that allows you to win on a high school football field against guys who aren't as highly skilled, highly technical, and who don't spend as much time as you do becoming very, very skilled. That's going to change once you go to the college level because more and more guys are putting in that kind of time. They have more time to devote to being skilled. And so now it's just going to be your high skill against their high skill. What's going to separate them? That's the athleticism. So how do you determine whether or not you are highly or moderately athletic? You got to start looking at your athletic numbers. How high do you jump? How fast do you run? Those type of things. How strong are you in that weight room? That's that athleticism. What are your agility numbers like? What kind of shuttle do you run? You've got to be honest about that. You know you're a 4'6" guy, don't run around saying that you're a 4'4" guy. Understand that you are a 4'6" guy and that you might fit into that moderately athletic area and you're just highly skilled because you work hard on your technique. Now, where do those guys belong? You can indeed go to a Power 5 school. What you are going to really have to take a look at though is, has the school you're strongly considering had success with your type of player? So for instance, you're a 4'6" wide receiver who's highly skilled, really good at catching the football. Is the school that you're thinking about going to had success with a player like that? Have they had a guy who's not that ideal burner but has been a really good pass catcher and route runner? Have they had success with that kind of player? If they have, they're going to be more willing to work with you when those instances turn up that you're not as athletic as they would like. They're going to have this thing in the back of their head, well, such and such player was like that too, and we ended up having a really good amount of success with that player. If they haven't had that, it's going to be tough being that first guy to do it. They may quickly turn around and say, you're just not fast enough, and insert another guy either in your class or the class coming behind you. That's the speed that they typically want and has either the same amount of skill or even less skill than you. And that can be extremely frustrating and could end up with you going into the portal. The good thing for you is you do have a little bit of history on your side. So do your homework. Like I said, look for a school. It could be a Power 5 school, could be one of those big time schools that have had success with the kind of player that you are. Maybe not ideal athletically, they fit more like your profile athletically, but because of that person's highly skilled nature, they were able to have success with them. You fit it, you're just like that player, and now you can go there too with a little bit of more comfort knowing that they've had success with a player just like you. Now, another reason that I say this category is tricky is because guys will think because they're getting offers from these Power 5 schools that they should automatically take them. They like your skill and your production out on the field, but athletically, like I said, you don't really match up with the other kind of guys that they're trying to recruit or the guys that they have on the roster now, or even worse, the kind of guys that they're gonna recruit in the classes behind you. And you feel like just because you're getting those offers from them Power 5 schools that you should jump on those. Actually, if you can't find those schools that have had success with the type of player that you are, there'd be nothing wrong with you even dropping down to a lower tier FBS school or even one of the group of 5 schools in the MAC conference or something in the Mountain West conference or one of those smaller conferences. Is it a shot to the ego? Yes. But if it keeps you out of that transfer portal and you can build yourself a good 4-year, 5-year resume at one of those group of 5 schools or lesser known FBS schools, or maybe someone in a Power 5 conference who's not the perennial winner of that conference, if you can go over there and build yourself a nice little history and be a part of something growing at one of those schools, then you've put yourself in a great position to try and obtain better draft capital when that time comes around for you. If you're wallowing on the bench at one of these big time schools because you just don't fit the athleticism and they throw you away really, really quickly and start inserting other guys in your class or in the class behind you, that's no good for you. You got to be on the field and producing. You've got to say to yourself, it's better for me to performing at one of these MAC schools and have a 3-4 year career where I break records or I'm constantly an all-conference selection. That's a whole lot better than sitting on the end of the bench for one of these other big time schools and watching everyone else play. Final category is one of the toughest one for guys to accept. You're moderately athletic and you're moderately skilled. Needless to say, those type of guys will find their fit in schools that are not necessarily Power 5 schools. You may find a Power 5 school. It's not going to be one of those upper echelon ones, not the ones that are winning the conference each and every year, and we know who those are. I don't got to keep repeating those names. Your look is now in group of 5, FCS, or maybe even Division 2. And it's very difficult because a lot of guys have a hard time admitting that, especially when you're a teenager. I know the deal. I was a teenager once. But again, if you're going to be successful in finding the proper school for you and have a smooth college football recruiting process and a college football career, it's going to require you being honest with yourself. So if you're moderately athletic, and again, check your numbers. Are you as fast as the other guys that are being recruited by the big time schools? How's your jumping ability? How's your change of direction? What about my height and weight? If you don't really stack up in those areas, then you're probably falling into this category of moderately athletic. What about your skill level? All right, you execute, but your technique could use some work. Again, maybe you found the sport late. Maybe you need to put a little bit more time into it, and in time, you know you'll get more skilled, you become a better player. You know what schools are going to have the patience for that and are going to work on developing that. It's going to be those smaller schools, the group of 5, the FCS, Division 2 schools. They're great schools. They're going to be patient in developing you. And if you're getting offers from some of the bigger schools, I know it's enticing and it's good and you want to feel great and you want the prestige of putting that big time school's hat on and everyone's saying you're going to that big time school. A lot of times that turns into tragedy for the recruit. So you really got to take an honest look at you. If you're moderately athletic, moderately skilled, come off of those big time Power 5 schools, it's time to start thinking about the lower tier Power 5 programs, group of 5, and those types. The Mountain West Conference and the AAC and those type of schools. They're really, really great programs. They coach well, they develop well, and again, the biggest thing is they will have patience with you. You can actually get injured as a freshman and they'll still welcome you back as a sophomore because they didn't get a bunch of other big time athletic 5 stars in the class behind you that they're ready to just shove right in front of you. That's the reality of it. So you've got to take an honest look at yourself. How's your skill level? Is it moderate? How's your athletic ability? Is it moderate? You fit into this category. You need to consider the schools that or the type of schools that I just mentioned in this particular category. Certainly there's another category below these 4. That's low athletics and low skill. What I can tell you guys is, how are your grades? It's time for you to start looking at an academic scholarship because an athletic scholarship playing football is not for you. All right, you may have enjoyed high school football. Maybe you didn't play that much, but because you played here or there, you feel like you are due a college football offer. The chances of you getting that are slim to none, right? Make sure your grades are intact and you're gonna have to start looking for a different path because no college football program is out there looking for a guy that doesn't measure up athletically or skill-wise. They have college football games to win. They're under a tremendous amount of pressure from fans, from the athletic department, and those guys aren't trying to get fired. And if a college football recruiter goes out and starts bringing in a bunch of guys that can't help them come Saturday, then his job is on the line and he's going to lose his job, and he's certainly not going to do that. So again, being honest with you, if you're low-level skill, low-level athleticism, there's another place for you, and it's not going to be on a college football roster. Tough to say, tough to hear, but it is what it is. So all right, for the rest of you that fit into these categories, again, the big thing here is honesty and a good self-evaluation. It's going to help you find that right school, pick the right fit. Guys, that transfer portal is a little bit of fool's gold. Don't just go grabbing the biggest and the best offer every time. There is a lot more involved to this process. Guys are transferring all the time because they chase the prestige. Put your ego aside. I promise you, when you start getting a little bit further into your college career or your college years and you're in your 20s, that prestige is not going to do anything for you, and it's not going to seem as important. And you know what's going to make you feel good is when you know you're at the right school and you're having fun and you're doing and you're accomplishing the things that you set out to accomplish. And when you look around and you see those guys that chase the big time schools that you now know didn't fit into those categories, you're going to start to feel really, really good about the decision that you made. So again, honesty, self-evaluation, take a good hard look at yourself, see what category you fit in, and then start lining those schools up and to really start honing in on those type of schools as the ones that you want to sign with. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the information that's in it. I hope you took notes, and I hope you're ready to be honest with yourself. If you're a college football prospect and you've not yet downloaded the college football recruiting app that everyone's talking about, and that's the GridironStuds app, go do it right now. Hit the link in the bio, download it, create a profile. College football coaches and fans are on there right now looking for prospects from all over the country. They might as well be looking for you. So do that, hit the link in the bio, and again, like, share the video, and also subscribe. All right, appreciate all you guys jumping in and giving this a little time to watch. And I appreciate you being a part of my channel, and I look forward to serving you guys with many, many more videos like this to help you out with your college football recruiting process. All right, thank you guys for watching. Gridiron Studs, be seen.